Firstly, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Putung Rahdandika Rismawan, and today I would like to tell you to present about the assignment given from Mr. Harry. So in that assignment, there are 10 questions that I should answer to to be able to know how much I understand about the material that had been presented before. So now I would like to tell you about what is online learning. As what you can see in the picture, online learning is a learning that can be conducted partly or fully over the internet. Online learning can be conducted not just if the learning held fully online or fully over the internet. A learning can be called as online learning if there are some parts of the learning that held in over the internet and face-to-face learning. So from the face-to-face learning until the online learning, there are the learning that we call as blended learning. Next, in online learning, we know that there are two kinds of learning: synchronous and asynchronous. Synchronous is the online learning that happen in the same time. It is called synchronous learning because the system allows the students to ask their teacher or their friends and communicate through the instant messaging, or simply we can call it as live chat. On the other hand, asynchronous learning is the online learning that happen in different times, and this learning can be carried out in two forms, that is online, and also can be held offline or face-to-face. That is the basic differences between synchronous and asynchronous learning. I will be very fast because there are so many questions here. I continue to the second question, that is the basic features of LMS. So here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 basic features. 9 basic features of LMS. The first one is announcement. Announcement is a feature of LMS, which is the place where the teacher communicates important updates to the class. Announcements is very important to the learning, because if there is no updates to the class, how can the class will be? The student will get confused about the class, about the assignment, the lesson, or something. The next basic features is syllabus. Syllabus provides the structure of the course and outlines course expectation. So by using syllabus, teacher can manage the class, can ask the student what they have to do, what are expected from the course, and something. Next is calendar. Calendar, I think everyone knows calendar is something like to give you, to inform you the due date, the deadline of a course, no assignment. Next, the fourth basic features is lessons. Lessons, of course, in LMS, of course, there is lessons. If there is no lessons, there will be no class, the online class. Lessons are the core of instructional containers for our course. So the lessons should lead the students through the course learning outcomes, and then assignment and quizzes. When there is a lesson, there must be assignment and quizzes also, in order to to assess the student. Next is the resources. Resources feature is the feature that store the digital and online material to the students that are required to review. The resources can be in form of picture, video, audio, games, the link to websites, and etc. Next is the discussion forum. Discussion forum is one of the most important thing here, because if there is no discussion forum, how can we help the online learning? Discussion forum is the place to the students and teachers doing communication, asking and giving question, answering and something. And then the next one is the Dropboxes. Usually there is one Dropbox in a lesson in a online learning platform. The function of Dropbox is the place of the assignment of the student. After the teacher gives the assignment and quizzes to the students, usually the students will submit their assignment in the Dropbox. And the last basic features of LMS is the course email. Course email, like the name, it contains the email of the teacher, so the student can ask every question to the teacher if they have problem in doing their learning. That is all about the second questions. I will continue to the third question. In the third question, we are asked to make example of a good introduction writing for one lesson. So I will read this for you. This is my version of a good introduction writing. I tried my best to make it. So dear class, I'm so grateful to meet you yesterday in our first meeting. So this one is for literature class. For next week, we are going to learn about the Old English period. This is the first chapter of English literature. I hope you enjoy the class. See you. I provide 3 things to do to the student. You can read it. And the last thing is you can ask something that you don't understand in the comment section. Be ready, and thank you. I think this is the best, not the best, this is a good example of introduction writing, because introduction writing must use simple, and the language must be directly to the topic. That's all from the third questions. I continue to the fourth questions. Why online material must be attractive and what elements are needed? So, for this question, I have 4 things that 4 elements that needed to design an attractive course. The first one, as you can see, this one, the first one, that is the page layout. In page layout, we have to know that an online course discussion will be attractive if the teacher gives space to the students, and while making the platform the question or something, they have to consider about, the teacher should consider about the page layout. It must be a free space beside the text. It must not show in long sentence. For me, it should be in form of justice. What we call it? Yeah, the margin should be justice. And then the second elements are the second element is the text. There are 4 things to consider in the text elements. So there are typefaces, font size, bold and italic, and underline. So the typeface here, I mean that the text in online course must be using, what is that, serif. No, I mean without serif. So serif here is the small tail like extension behind after every character. So I think that should not be used in online learning, because student may get confused in reading, because that is not clear. The example of the font that doesn't use serif, I think not the Times New Roman, but the Georgia is the best font for online learning. The next is the font size. Font size, once again, it should be readable, not too small and not too big. Next is bold, italic and underline. It should be used wisely. Bold and italic should be used to emphasize meaning of something, and underline, it's also used to emphasize meaning and sometimes used for hyperlink. Next is color. We have to use the color with care. So if the background of the online course platform is light, maybe something like white or the light color, we should use the font color something like black, that the color should against the background, so that the reader, the students, will be easier to read the color because it is contrast. So next, the graphic elements. There are 2 kinds to know. in graphic elements. There are symbols and icons, and bullets, and numbering. So in symbols and icons, there is thing that can be very useful in signaling small elements in website that appear over and over again. So the teacher can make the information in the teacher also can make the information easier to read, easier to understand by using the second graphic elements, that is bullets and numbering. So the use of this one is to make the student easier to read, because there will be no long sentences, no long paragraph, and you know it. Okay, that's all about the elements needed to design an attractive course. I continue to the fifth questions: types of online learning activities and relevant technological tools for the types. Here there are 6 types of activity. The first one is class discussion, the second one is journal writing, the third one is shared knowledge base, practice exercises, projects, and the last one is receptive activities. For the class discussion, the best tool to support the online activities is the discussion forum. So from the discussion forum, the teacher can build a class community doing question and answer and give weekly topic discussions to the students. And for journal writing, the best tool to support it is a blog. So by using blog, the student can do individual reflection, and that's all. Next to the shared knowledge base, the tool is wiki. This one is something like Wikipedia, so the student can know more glossarium, more vocabulary, and more bibliography of someone. So it will increase their knowledge about it. So next is the practice exercises. Of course, for this activity, the tool is testing or quizzing. Next, project is the tool can be used work groups, wikis, blogs, or discussion forum. There are so many variation of project because it depends on the teacher creation to give students a project. The last one is receptive activities. It can use PDF file, podcast to give something like audio, YouTube, Google presentation, and many other things that we can use to support the receptive activities. In receptive activities, we can do visual presentation, both student or teacher. We can do course reading and many other things. Next, I continue to the sixth questions. It's about how does a teacher optimize discussion? Here I have seven things that the teacher should do in order to make an active discussion in their online learning. The first one, of course, preparation. The teacher should be prepared well to use the modern information, modern communication, and modern learning tools. If the teacher if the teacher doesn't have a good preparation, of course you can imagine how is the class. It will be very, very bad class. Next is the teacher should use student-centered mode to the discussion. So why? Because if the teacher use teacher-centered, the student will not be active in doing discussion. Next is the collaboration. Collaboration is so important in optimizing a discussion because with the collaboration, because student and teacher should collaborate and support each other in order to create a good online class discussion. If only the teacher active, or if only the student are active, there will be a bad collaboration between them, and the class also will be a not good class. So next one is the communication. Communication, I think I should not mention it because in every class should be a good communication between the teacher and the students. Next is explanation. In optimizing discussion, the teacher should explain clearly about the activities, the assessment, and the teacher should master all of the information before, so the teacher can give the information as clear as possible. Next one is professional. It's just like my explanation before. The teacher should be professional and mastering everything before starting an online course. And all of the things that I mentioned before, all of the things that I mentioned before will not be all of the things that I mentioned before should be supported by the last thing here, motivation. If the teacher are prepared well, professional, mastering the online course, but if they don't have motivation, it's done. There will be no discussion or good discussion Next, that's all about the sixth question. I continue to the next question. Please provide an example of a learning resource that can be used to engage learners in online learnings. In this case, I use a fun and meaningful video and audio. So, by giving them video and audio, of course, the video and audio should be meaningful first and then fun. By giving them that kind of learning resource, the student will get easier to understand the material, and their interest in learning that material will be increased. So the learner and the teacher and the material are engaged in online learning. So that's the simplest explanation that I can give to you. I won't give you a very long explanation of it, because fun and meaningful audio and video is just clear to describe to no not to describe to explain my opinion about learning resources that can be used to engage learners. So I continue to the 8 questions. I should give example of effective assessment in English online teaching and learning. So I give you the example of effective assessment. In my opinion, this kind of assignment is an effective assessment given by Mr. Harry. So you can read here. Mr. Harry just said, just give you the due date. No, here the due date, and then said that, dear student, thank you for active insightful presentation for this course. As all units have been delivered, the section here is used to check your overall understanding of the learning class design and development. Please respond to the following question. The language used here is so directly to the topic, so that makes the assessment given is so effective, and the student will directly know what they have to do. That's all. I think I will continue to the number 9. The number 9 is, what are the basic elements to consider when building an online course? Please explain. I have 4 basic elements to consider when building an online course. The first one is the learning outcomes. Learning outcomes are the core of a process that creates courses and programs that follow through on their promises. The learning outcomes also provide the teacher with clear guidelines for developing an online course. Learning outcomes it must be measurable and specific. And then the next element is online syllabus. Online syllabus contains many same elements as an on-site or offline syllabus, because in online syllabus we can find that there are course title, course name, course description, objective, evaluation plan, grading, required required things to do, recommended things to do, and the course outline. It's just almost the same with the offline syllabus or on-site syllabus. Next is the course outline. The online course outline is a calendar and a list to do. So in course outline, we can found that there are lists to do, of course, the sequence of events, the assignments, the reading activities, and the course deliverables. The last element to consider is the from course outline to lessons. This is a good place to start in using a course outline to structure the online course, because it is considering 3 areas. The first one is begin with the learning outcomes. Each unit will have at least one learning outcome, and then the next thing to do is plan our assessment that will be given to the student. And the last thing is using the assessment to measure the student's knowledge, measures the content and the student knowledge, their skills also. That's all. I continue to the last question is example of one online lesson in my class for one meeting. Here is the online platform, which is e-learning Undiksa, that can be accessed from the SSO. So here I give you the example of online lesson in my class. Here is the class, the drama class. In this drama class, we can see that the teacher provide a learning source and also give information to the student what they have to do for one lesson. And this one also discussion forum for the student to give their opinion about the lessons, and also give the place to the other student who want to reply their friends chat or discussion. Okay, I think that's all from me to explain the 10 questions given by Mr. Harry in order to check the comprehension of all of the materials that has been presented before. I am Putung Rasanti Karismawan. Thank you so much for watching. See you.